Matt Bernier with the DRFBets race of the day for Wednesday, January the 9th. The nightcap down at Gulfstream, race number 10, 5/8 of a mile on the grass. These are maiden claimers. $25,000 is the claiming tag. Before we dive into the field, I'd encourage you to head on over to DRFBets, take a look at the latest as far as sign-up offers are concerned. Bets.drf.com is the address where you can find all the details. Let's take a look at the field that will be going 5/8 of a mile on the grass. Again, I would also encourage you to head on over to the Race of the Day page on DRF.com. Download free formulator past performances. I'll zip through this field, maybe give you some formulator facts. We'll talk about the Timeform US Pace Projector, and ultimately give you a horse that I might be intrigued with in the 10th down at Gulfstream. The number one is Entrez Encore. This is a horse that's making her first start for New Connections. Most recently had been seen back in October as a 2-year-old on dirt at Parks, going out for Alan Goldberg. Now goes out for a new trainer. We have a positive formulator fact for these connections. Past 5 years, turf first after the trainer switch. 5 for 13, 7 times in the money. Over a $4.50 ROI. That's all big news here. Blinkers go on for the first time. You've got a bullet work most recently on December the 29th. Best of 40, going 47-3. There's plenty of reason to believe this horse, I think, is going to show a little bit more speed than maybe we have seen in the prior efforts. To be honest with you, look, at face value, I don't like the horse, but based on the formulator fact, based on the way this one's been working, I think it's kind of hard to ignore that this one's got to be viewed as a player. I picked this horse second in here. The number 2 is Mazzo Bella. Mazzo Bella goes out for Jenna Antonucci. Mazzo Bella is the little sister to Miss Matzo Ball. You may remember her. She was a stakes winner on grass. Mazzo Bella owns the highest last out buyer in the field, the highest last out raw time form rating in the field. She drops in class from the maiden 50 level to the maiden 25. Now, she goes back in distance in a pretty significant way as well, though. Going from 2 turns back to 1 turn, 7.5 furlongs to 5 furlongs. If you think she's going to get some pace to run at, which, again, in these early 3-year-old races or races that the 2-year-olds have had a little bit of experience, it's kind of difficult to really pinpoint. So take the pace projector when we do look at it with a little bit of a grain of salt. Mazzo Bella, I'd like her to be forwardly placed or relatively close. If she is, I think she's got a big chance. If she has to come from too far back, I don't know that I love her chances in here. She's another one, though, that I think you have to use. I picked her third in here out of my 4 picks. The number 3 is Alpiles or Alpiles. I don't know how you want to pronounce that. Goes out for Wesley Ward. This filly's damn remarkable Remy was a multiple stakes winner. You go through and look at the career debut. It was washed off the turf at Keeneland back in October. Sloppy sealed track. Happened to run into a horse called Fancy Dress Party, who we saw win a stakes race this past weekend down at Gulfstream, like a good thing. Ward's off to a really hot start, and he is plummeting this filly in class. She's going from the maiden special weight ranks in that most recent run down to the $25,000 claiming level. Let's take a look, though, at a negative formulator fact. As good as the Ward barn has been firing right now, past 5 years, turf maiden special weight to maiden claiming off of a 31 to 60 day layoff, over 20. 11 of them hit the board, though, so perhaps you want to consider this horse underneath. Look, you can certainly consider this horse on top as well. That most recent run, she at least faced some decent horses. The winner came back and earned a 61 in her next start. Third place finisher was the next out winner with a 68 buyer. So you know that she's faced better. Perhaps the class relief, perhaps coming off a little bit of a layoff will help her. She's another one that I'll be using underneath. I picked her fourth, in this spot. We'll find out where she's positioned throughout the run. Number 4 is Feature Creature, going out for Steve Claceris. Johnny V has the mount. This one is another one that's turning back in distance from a mile to 5/8. Has tried 5/8 of a mile in the past, even one time here at Gulfstream. That was back in September. Didn't do much running that day. Was bet in the next start. Got some class relief down to the maiden 16 level. Was close, but couldn't get the job done. Lost by more than 2 lengths. This is another one that I'm not really thrilled with. Is coming out of a decent enough race. The winner came back and earned a 62 in her next start. The third place finisher was the next out winner on dirt with a 62 buyer. The 9th place finisher was the next out winner with a 50 buyer. So there's some things to like here, or at least believe that this horse has faced decent company. I would imagine this horse is going to be more positioned mid-pack as opposed to up and more forward as she was in that route race most recently. Again, kind of revert back to those from off the pace tactics. We'll find out what Feature Creature does in here. The 5 is My Sweet Painter. This is a filly that most recently only was defeated by 3/4 of a length in the maiden $20,000 level race, going 2 turns at a mile. She kept some decent enough company, especially if you believe the buyer for the horse that was the runner-up that split this filly and the winner, because next out she came back and earned a 62 buyer. So that filly certainly moved up. If you believe for some reason My Sweet Painter moves up from a figure standpoint, she can be competitive through 10 lifetime starts. I'm a little bit dubious that you're going to get a tremendous amount of improvement. For what it's worth, she has really only sprinted on turf on 2 other occasions, so perhaps you want to give her the benefit of the doubt there. I don't like her chances in here, though. The 6 is Tapazar Girl. Now, Tapazar Girl is another one that when you look at it, usually in a race like this, perhaps you want just a fresh face because none of these other girls have really impressed you. We know what Barbosa is capable of as a trainer, 27% so far for this championship meeting. From a pedigree standpoint, Tapazar is only about 6% with the first-time turf runners. This filly, though, is a half to a filly called Mending Fences, who was 2 for 10 on grass. But you have a negative formulator fact here for Barbosa. Let's take a look past 5 years. Turf first-time starters, 1 for 19, only 4 of them in the money. But you do have a very, very gaudy return on investment of $2.57. I'm inclined to say let's see one with this horse before we ultimately go on and maybe consider this one as a second-time starter. But again, if you're not sold on anyone that's run so far, why not take the entire fresh face in here? The 7 is Subtle Hope, goes out for Lily Curtinets. This is a horse most recently, sloppy sealed track on the main track. Ran quite well, only defeated by a length and 3/4. The problem there, though, is that, again, was on the main track over a wet running strip. 2 starts back, tried the grass at Gulfstream West, never was involved whatsoever, but I do find it interesting that this one was bet down to 5-1 that day. That was also at 7.5 furlongs going 2 turns. I kind of wonder if you can transfer that speed that you saw in that most recent run on the main track over to the turf this time around. 3rd time start, in at this level. This one's a half to 2 turf winning siblings, I'm kind of intrigued by the idea of this horse just possibly speeding off to the front. And the Timeform US Pace Projector, again, you may want to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt, considering there's not a ton of data. But they have the 7 Subtle Hope just winging it out there on the front end. And that's kind of the way that I'm looking at it. And I'm hopeful that Albin Jimenez is able to just break, send her to the front, and say, come and catch me. Put it this way, 5 furlongs on grass at Gulfstream. I would much rather be up on the lead, even if you're going crazy fast, than trying to rally from off of it. I think Subtle Hope is interesting at odds of 10-1. The 8 is Chesapeake Bay. This is another horse that is trying afternoons for the first time. Has only been working out. This is going to be a career debut for Antonio Sano. Unfortunately for the Sano barn, the first-time starters, just the raw number here, 0 for 53. This one's Dam is a stakes winner, but on grass, 0 for 3 and never hit the board in any of those 3 lifetime starts. The midshipmen's, for what it's worth, about 13.5% with the first-time turf runners. The 8 is Infinity Sky, this one most recently was bet down to odds of 8-5. Never really did much running. That was going a mile. Now perhaps the turn back in distance will be beneficial. Tried a turf sprint 2 starts back, and in the grand scheme of things, from a figure standpoint, is actually one of the more respectable horses in this race. A 50 buyer and a 77 raw Timeform rating. Was bet down to 7-2 that day. They tried to stretch her out, didn't really work out for her. Maybe the turn back in distance will help. For what it's worth, My Sweet Painter, the horse we spoke about earlier, finished 3rd, 2 slots ahead of this horse. And again, that runner-up that day did come back and earn a 62. So maybe you think there's going to be a sort of a rebound. You can get back to a better number in here, going to the shorter distance. The 10 is Glory Roll for Alan Iwinski. First time going out for the Iwinski barn. Blinkers come off. Bet to 39-1 in the career debut. Didn't really do any kind of running. The runner-up, Crumble, is the next out winner with a 59 on dirt. 6th place finisher, next out winner with a 55. The Adios Charlie's first-time turf runners, not great, about 7%. Getting some class relief going from the maiden 50 into the maiden 25. You do have a bullet work most recently on January the 3rd, half mile and 47-2. All that being said, I still don't love the prospects of this horse breaking from the outside, speed to the inside. I don't like the way it sets up. The 11, My Cotton Candy, is another entrant going out for Antonio Sano. Luis Saez has the mount here. Always a positive when you see Luis aboard any of these mounts. Hard spun, first-time turf runners, about 9%. The Dam was a multiple stakes winner, but those came on dirt, not on grass. This one, they tried to get on the grass most recently. Washed off, ran on the main track. This one has clearly shown that she cannot run on the main track. I suppose it is... I have a hard time saying this with a straight face. I suppose it's a positive that 2 starts back, you did see a little bit of early speed, but then she proceeded to just completely drop anchor and there was nothing there. I've seen nothing based on these 4 lifetime starts that would suggest to me that all of a sudden she's going to jump up. I think it's time to make this surface change, and perhaps the grass is what she's wanted all along, but to be honest, not really thrilled with her prospects in here at 20-1. But again, you get Luis Saez for Antonio Sano. Rounding out the field is the number 12, Allez. This is a horse that, again, you want to talk about not having done much on the racetrack. You've got consecutive -0 Beyer speed figures. The career debut earned an 18 Beyer. I don't know. We'll find out what we get here. I think this is a horse that I don't know. There's got to be some kind of change. They've already tried to take the blinkers off. Coming off of a little bit of a layoff here for Juan Rodriguez. We'll find out. Again, I don't love the prospects of this horse breaking from the far outside. We're not going to talk about the also eligible horse. We only talk about the horses in the body of the race. You've got 12 3-year-old fillies. They're maidens going 5 furlongs on the grass. Ultimately, where did I go? I kind of agree with the pace projector. I like the idea of the 7 Subtle Hope getting out there and just kind of being able to drop the hammer and go. Say, come and catch me. I'm hopeful that speed transfers from the main track over to the grass, and she can get out there and just wing it. She's 10-1 on the morning line. I don't know that you'll get 10 because, again, she was bet in that career debut going 2 turns at Gulfstream West. I think she probably goes off in that 5 or 6-1 range, but still, I find that more intriguing than what I've seen from many of these other girls. So for me, it's 7-1-2-3. In the 10th at Gulfstream on Wednesday afternoon. That is your Wednesday DRF Bets race of the day. If you are new to DRF Bets and you're looking for some added bonuses, head on over to bets.drf.com and take a look at the latest as far as sign-up offers are concerned. Always great deals over on DRF Bets. Bets.drf.com is the address. Scheduled post time for race number 10 down at Gulfstream on Wednesday for the DRF Bets race of the day is 5:08 Eastern. Good luck.